Okay. Hi, this is Ice Blue 3. Currently, it is April the 7th, 2026. Okay, so I was meditating on a lot of things, and pretty much I noticed that on April the 26th, 2026, that is Israel's 78th birthday, I believe. But not only that, transit Uranus, it will go into the sign of Uranus. But not only that, that it's also my birthday as well. But not only that, that's Melania Trump's birthday as well, and Jet Li's birthday, and Channing Tatum's birthday too. But I'm more so focused on Melania Trump. It's weird because I was meditating. I was like, it's weird that my ascendant was conjunct Charlie Kirk's natal sun, and then kind of find out my natal sun is conjunct Melania Trump's natal sun. Just weird coincidences. Believe in them or not, but whatever. So I say it's important because the date of April, just mid April, and so on, is important because Donald Trump on April the 15th, 2026, he would have a progression to his Mars, and I said around that date he'll be ready to flip the table over. But not only that, on around I think on April the 14th, 2026, that's when I think Kamala Harris. That's when Pam Bundy, she is subpoenaed to testify on April the 14th, 2026. And so much stuff has happened since April the 2nd, which was the day that Pam Bundy she was fired. Well, she was reportedly fired or demoted or whatever. But so much stuff has come out in regards to this Donald Trump having situations going with Iran that it's like uh so I'm concerned in regards to Melania Trump and her birthday of April 26th, but and so on, just this whole entire period of time. Because even looking further ahead, I think around mid-May, when everybody's celebrating, what not celebrating, when bad things are going on for Bill Clinton, looking at Bill Clinton's astrology, and good things are going on for Donald Trump, looking at his astrology and his circle's astrology. It's shown that Barron Trump, he would be depressed around the mid May, and I was wondering like what why would Barron Trump be upset or be emotionally depressed and restricted? Now all the way back when I believe on September the let me pause. It was either October. Let me pause a second. Let me pause. Okay, so a while back I said for Barron Trump on September 26th, 2025, his progressed moon will make a sextile to his progressed Mars. And on the same day for Bill Clinton, his progressed moon will trine his progressed Saturn. So for Barron Trump, it should have been an angering event. And for Bill Clinton, it should have been like an emotional block or an emotional loss for Bill Clinton around September 26th, 2025. And so I had a weird incident where it was, I think, Cash Patel, a parody account of Cash Patel. They started making weird commentary, talking about nothing's happened in regards to Barron Trump or whatever. And then, like, it was like days later or whatever, there's some news that came out that Barron Trump and apparently his alleged or reported girlfriend were shut down. I think the Trump hotels like that, and it was reported inside the news or whatever. And anyway, Barron Trump could have been upset about that. My point is that so on mid-May. Let me get the exact date. Pause. Okay, so on May the 10th, 2026 for Barron Trump, his progressed moon will make a semi-sextile to his progressed Saturn. So that could be an emotional block for Barron Trump. So either something bad could happen, or it could be the fact that he's been restricted or watched by whatever security measures is taking place in regards to him while there's a big event going on with Bill Clinton. So I'm just saying, regardless, Melania Trump needs to be very, very careful around this time because I don't have a birth time and I can't really look at her chart. And I'm like, I'm burnt the fuck out on this whole entire situation anyway. Um, Everybody else is focusing on Iran and the United States and other situations in regards to war. The astrologer does say that you say war because whenever transit Uranus goes into the sign Gemini, the United States it tends to go to either war with another nation or with or there is a civil war. And not only that, I believe that they other astrologers they say that pretty much when transit Saturn conjoin transit Neptune in the sky, that's when there's a big event in regards to oil, and it could either deal with Russia or any oil giant. I think Iran is an oil giant. So that's that. Um, Recently, Donald Trump he's been saying a lot of stuff online to Iran. He said, I think today's the 7th, right? Today's Tuesday, the 7th of April, 2026. And he's been saying a lot of things like he's gonna blow Iran basically into the Stone Age if, and I'm paraphrasing, if they don't open the Strait of Hormuz or something like that. And I think the Strait of Hormuz has been closed since like I believe March or something like that. Or there's been like restrictions in regards to that waterway. Anyway, all I'm saying, and I've made a few comments myself. As a matter of fact, I'll probably say them now. I'm not extremely as exhausted as I was when I made my other two videos. But let me pause a second to get my the post I made on True Social. So let me pause a second. Let me unpause. Let me get to this point real quick. So all I'm saying is that mid April, today is the 7th of April. Something may happen where Donald Trump gets pissed off and he's ready to flip the table over. That's April the 15th or the 16th, 2026. But things happen 6 days before, 6 days after. But still, around the date of April the 15th, 2026. And it's the day before that date, Pam Bunny, she's subpoenaed to testify in front of Congress in regards to the Epstein Transparency Act. And being that she's been fired, being that she was reportedly fired on April the 2nd, 2026, who knows how that may play out. So, but it looks like something happens to piss off Donald Trump on May the 15th. I mean, on April the 15th, 2026. Then days later on April the 19th/20th, 2026, that's when transit Mercury in the sky, it conjoins transit Mars in the sky and transit Saturn inside the sky. And that's huge information in regards to Epstein. Because every time transit Mercury has conjoined transit Mars in the sky, there's been a huge trough of information that's come out in regards to Epstein. But not only that, in the future, past that date, on I believe the 22nd of April, 2026, that's when JD Vance, his progressed moon will make a quincunx to his natal Mars, and he should be angry about something. The last time that JD Vance had a progression to one of his Mars or whatever, now I would only assume that it was his progressed Mars, that was on September the 2nd, 2025, and that was like 8 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. So, and crazy enough, on the 24th of April, 2026, for Usher Vance, her progressed moon will make a quincunx to her progressed Uranus, and that's a bad, shocking event for her. So something really, really angering and weird happens from mid-April to late April, to April 2020, April 26, 2026. And again, Melania Trump's birthday is on April 26th, 2026. That's why I said she needs to be very, very careful on this day. And I said, like, I'm repeating myself, but my ascendant lord is conjunct Charlie Kirk's natal sun, and that's conjunct the fixed star Spica in the sign of Libra. And so I'm just saying again, my natal sun is basically conjunct Melania Trump's natal sun. So it's just a weird coincidence, and I can't look at her full chart. So I'm just saying she needs to be very, very careful. Just looking at patterns and the way things play out. Especially with Donald Trump, he's saying a lot of things in regards to Iran and etc. And you don't know how these people might try to get revenge. Especially when I think Donald Trump took out the Ayatollah. Anyway, and he's and then also I think he made a comment saying praise be to Allah, and he was being what's the word the word's not facetious. It's Let me pause a second. Okay, I guess the correct word would be is mocking or taunting or sarcastic. Anyway, because I think that when you say something crazy in regards to a Muslim's let me pause a second. I'm so tired. I'm just using Chat GPT, well, not Chat GPT, but Google and its AI search system. Anyway, I'm just going to quote Google and its AI. So mocking Allah, the Quran, or the Prophet Muhammad is considered a grave sin and an act of disbelief. Kufr in parentheses, so kufr, I don't know, that places a person outside the fold of Islam. Reactions from Muslims to such mockery typically emphasize upholding the sanctity of the religion through, at minimum, leaving the gathering where it occurs, and at most, calling for intellectual, legal, or political accountability. And I mean, I think that there's a lot of Muslims that if you mock their religion or whatever, they'll try to kill you. Anyway, so that's why I'm like, uh, Melania Trump, be careful, because the astrology it looks weird. Let me pause for another second to get the exact quote that Donald Trump made. So let me pause. Okay, so on April the 5th, 2026, at 7:03 a.m., I think Central Standard Time. I don't know, but so Donald Trump said Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one. In Iran, there'll be nothing like it. Open the fucking straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump. So, and you know how these people are, these Iranians are. I think I made a response to that. I said, well, before I made this, well, let me say my response to this quote, to his post. I'm tired. So I said, because the day before that I said, can I please have like a day of peace, like one day of peace, because I had made a video on, he made a post on April the 2nd, 2026, and I was like, can you please just have a break? No more news, no more crazy headlines. I think that was the day that Pam Bunny was fired. Anyway, so here we are. So I made a response to Donald Trump in regards to his praise be to Allah post. So I said to Donald Trump, to at real Donald Trump on TrueSocial.com. Sigh. I guess it's a no. I can't go one day without more crazy shenanigans. And Trump wonders why he was denied the Nobel Peace Prize, in my opinion. Well, Trump is really going to be pissed starting mid-April, which is weirdly enough around the same time Pam Bundy is subpoenaed to testify in front of Congress. I wonder if she'll go scorched earth regarding the entire situation and let some secret cat out of the bag. Meow. Or maybe something else could happen. Who knows? All I know is that Donald Trump will be angry / upset around April 15th, 2026, in reference to the planet Mars. His progressment will make an aspect to his natal Mars, and that means an angering, violent / triggering event for what's to come. The collective will be angry and upset around April 19th / 20th, 2026. Transit Mars will conjoin Transit Mercury in the sky and Transit Saturn in the sky at the same time, and it's a possible bad event for the collective. And J.D. Vance will also be angry / upset around April 22nd, 2026, where his progression will make a quincunx to his natal Mars. It's a bad event. The last time that J.D. Vance had an aspect to Mars in his chart was on September 2nd, 2025, and those days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Let's see here. So moving on. So also Usher Vance will be shocked around April 24th, 2026, where progression will quincunx to progress Uranus, a bad shocking event. Similar progressions happen to people in the political sphere of Donald Trump around the date Charlie Kirk was assassinated, which was September 10th, 2025. But also there was a slew of progressions and transits that happened around the time of January 14th, 2026, and that was when Bill and Hillary Clinton missed their deposition dates and were almost held in contempt of Congress. So it just means that when you have these progressions hit and these transits hit at the same time, it's like, and you have a slew of people having similar aspects at the same time, it means it could lead to a big event. Okay. My point, mid-April and onwards is going to be interesting. That's all. And it seemingly will lead to another event in regards to Bill Clinton on May the 4th, and really the whole month of May, but starting May 4th, 2026. And later lead to the astrology similar to Bill Clinton's and later will lead to astrology similar to Clinton's January 7th, 1999 impeachment trial start date, or the main show, which is shown in the astrology to happen on June the 13th, 2026. And that could be the next Bill Clinton scandal / trial start date. The event could happen 6 days before or 6 days after this given date. Sign astrologer Ice Blue 333. Let me go back. So the day before this, let me pause a second. Okay, so in regards to what would happen after mid-April, I don't know exactly what would happen. I just know that something would piss Donald Trump off. Something would piss off JD Vance. Something would shock Usher Vance. And for the collective, it's like something very, very bad happens. And then, yeah, for the collective, like something creates like warlike tensions. So that's just that. So Donald Trump on April the 2nd, 2026, that he at 12:17 p.m. I believe Central Standard Time, he made this post in regards to Pam Bundy. And see, I didn't get a chance to read this post until like after I made a video on that day, talking about the rapture and all this other stuff and etc. Going through all the astrology, going on for from the months of April all the way to March 2027. Yeah. So when Trump made this post in regards to Pam Bundy, this is before I made the post that I just recently just was talking about. So I said to at Real Donald Trump on TruthSocial.com. I said, and this is after he basically reportedly fired Pam Bundy via several news outlets. I said to Donald Trump, or to at Real Donald Trump, can I please have just one day without some crazy new headline? One. Just one. I try to take one day off from the internet, and all living and dead hell breaks loose. First it was Iran and the new attractive gay son leader taking charge. Then it was Cash's emails getting hacked with no juicy nudes leaked, unlike the reported 9.5-inch Hunter's nudes, Google/Bing it. Then it was Kristi Noem's soon-to-be divorced husband's huge massive boobs and pink tights on display for everybody to see. Which I think he did on purpose, being that I think there was possibly, they reported was going through a divorce anyway, but still. So, which I think he did on purpose. After reported spending $25,000 on cam girls with reported massive inflatable boobs. Saline inflatable. Anyway. With massive inflatable saline-filled boobs or whatever. And by the way, in reference to this contraption that I think his name is Brian Noam or Byron Noam. In regards to the silicone boob contraption that this man had or whatever, and his tight shirt and these bright pink tight pants or whatever, I said you can't hide that in the house because they were massive. You can't hide that under a pillow. You can't hide it inside of a closet. I mean, so anyway, let me go back to what I said. So you can't hide boobs that big under a pillow, by the way. That's not a double life. That's just their life, in my opinion. In my opinion. I don't care about anyone's kinky shenanigans and photos except for Cash's. Cashy. Or Cash Patel, the FBI director. If you don't know, I keep forgetting to be more descriptive when I say that. But so yeah, the only news that I really want to see is Cash Patel. So because apparently his news were, his some images in regards to him were leaked earlier last week or the week before that. I don't know. I don't care anymore. But moving on. So I said, try harder, Iran. Get his nudes, because apparently it was Iran that reportedly leaked his of images and stuff like that, or email or whatever. Now I was to say, what kind of leak? What kind of leak was that? Cigars and liquor? Really? That's all? I want the nudes. Get me the nudes. Anyway, now Pam Bundy has been fired. Can we have a break now? Or am I just going to wake up to your news tomorrow? I wouldn't be surprised, but I would actually prefer Cash's news in reference to Donald Trump's news possibly being leaked. But apparently, no, that wasn't. That's not what happened. Apparently, Donald Trump's just like, I want to blow Iran to hell. In so many words. Moving on. So I said Donald J. Trump, or DJT. I think you're taking the loss of the Nobel Peace Prize a little too far. There's always next year. Can we have some peace, please? Please and thank you for your attention to this matter. Sign astrologer Ice Blue 3, the god of astrology. Anyway, so I made this post, and a day later, Donald Trump was like, open the fucking the Strait of Hormuz. Oh, we're gonna blow you to hell. Praise be to Allah. Oh my God. And so now today, apparently Donald Trump, he made another post. And he made this post on April the 7th, 2026 at 7:06 a.m. He said a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. Exclamation mark. Because apparently he made a post saying that at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, whatever, something's supposed to happen. And so I guess I made a response to that. And so I said to the @real Donald J. Trump, or Donald Trump, I said, you know what? I kind of hope they say prove it and flip them off at this point. Get it over with already. These theatrics and this situation has gotten old. Very old, stale, and boring. All foreplay and no action. Makes a dull boy. And even when there's action, no progress. Just stagnant repetitions of the old. So why not just say fuck it and go mad? M-A-D. Or mutually assured destruction. I mean, why not? People are tired of people dying and war. But whatever. I guess Trump plans on giving the Norwegian Nobel Committee pure vengeful hell for denying him the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize. Trump even solved 2025 Nobel Peace Prize winners Maria Corina Machado's problem by capturing and extracting alleged dictator Nicolas Maduro from Venezuela. However, having peace through strength is, in my opinion, a double-edged sword. The late great Tupac said it best, and I'm paraphrasing, fear is stronger than love. However, Tupac lived a very short and challenging but extremely impactful life. He died at age 25. My point, there's always a bigger fish, and a dog will one day have his day, meaning there's always somebody that's bigger than you, and one day they'll prevail. So, anyway. So moving on. So I said sometimes strength is not enough, but diplomacy, foresight of one's actions, and above all else, a permanent common sense solution for everyone who's involved. A permanent solution. The next war needs to have the politicians and their children on the front lines, no one else. And if they don't have children, i.e. Lindsey Graham, they definitely need to be in the trenches, on the front lines, the very front. First in line, actually, but I digress. Sign astrologer Ice Blue 3, the god of astrology. Let me pause a second and get some water. So anyway, do I really care? No, I don't care either way. I'm burnt the fuck out. I'm just trying to say Melania Trump needs to be careful around this time because her birthday is on April 26th. My birthday is on April 26th. And transit Uranus changes signs on April 26th. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, what else? So last night, or was it this morning? It was this morning at 3:43 a.m. I did make a post in reference to Donald Trump's astrology. And his progressive making an aspect to let me pause a second. So Donald Trump's progressive making a square to his natal Mars. Let me find the last time that Donald Trump had a progression of Mars. Let me pause for a second. Pause. I'm back. So the last time that in current in these current years, these current last 2 years, that Donald Trump's progressed moon made an aspect to his Mars was on April the 8th, 2025. I had to go back to my videos and figure out what happened around this date. And so I believe on April the 9th, 2025, that's when Donald Trump signed several executive orders. And one of those orders, it made it. I think it made it so that Donald Trump could go back and prosecute. I think a guy, his name is Chris Krebs and Miles Taylor. But not only that, it also made it so that Donald Trump could go after Joe Biden and the auto pan situation. So that was that. And I also need to mention that around this time for Donald Trump, he also signed. I think he signed on March the 24th or the 25th, 2005, the release of the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. Um, um, so he signed the pause. So Donald Trump, he signed an executive order to basically release the Crossfire Hurricane investigation situation to the public. And that was on March 24th, 2025. But on April the 8th, 2025, that's when he signed an executive order to go after, I think, Joe Biden and his auto pan pardon signature situation or whatever. But also he was going after Miles Taylor and Christopher Krebs. Anyway, let me pause for a second. Okay, so back to my True Social post that I made. So the last time that for Donald Trump, his progressed moon made an aspect from the same house to Donald Trump's natal Mars was on December the 16th, 1998, and also August 28th, 1971. So maybe Trump did something big around December 16th, 1998, and August 28th, 1971. And keep in mind that these are I believe 28-year or 30-year cycles when every time that this progression hits in regards to anyone. Just like around December 1998, that was when Bill Clinton was going through the astrology, was going through the Monica Lewinsky scandal. I can't talk right anymore. So anyway, so the theme of Donald Trump's progressed Mars making an aspect to it, progressed moon making an aspect to his Mars, is it's an emotionally angering, possibly violent event in astrology, which could be a trigger for the future events to come regarding Bill Clinton possibly going through the same astrology as the 1998 Monica Lewinsky scandal and the 1999 impeachment trial of Bill Clinton. So I said an angry, pissed off Donald Trump flips the table over after mid to late April 2026 and began serious investigations and prosecutions, processing throughout the full month of May, specifically on May the 4th, 2026, with the possible trial date for Bill Clinton being around June 13th, 2026, and the end of the 2026 impeachment-like astrology for Bill Clinton happening on July the 20th, 2026, with another shocking / surprising event happening around the date of August 9th, 2026 for Bill Clinton. So let me pause a second. Okay, so I need to add. First I'm going to repeat this. Every time transit Mercury has conjoined transit Mars inside of the sky, something huge has went down in regards to information in regards to Epstein. So it's hit 1, 2, 3, 4. It's hit 4 times so far, and it's going to hit 5 times in total, in the current years. And I believe this is a rare event. But so it hit on October 20th, 2025, and that's when Prince Andrew, he dropped his Duke of York titles, I believe. Also, Virginia DeFray, she released her book called Nobody's Girl. Yeah, and I think Bill Clinton was subpoenaed to testify on October 14th, 2025. And he missed it, and I didn't know back then, but I found it out all in January. But anyway, moving on. Also around October 20th, 2025, on November the 6th or the 8th, 2025. That's when Danny Williams / Clinton, who is a black man who claims to be Bill Clinton's black biological love child or son. Anyway, so that happened. A lot of information in regards to Epstein came out around October 20th, 2025, and plus the internet went down as well. So moving on, so on November 12th, 2025, this is around the same time that Danny Williams Clinton, he released his book called The Forgotten Son. And he released the book on November the 6th or the 8th, 2025. But not only that, the government that was shut down, it opened back up. And around this time, I believe that Donald Trump, he signed the Epstein Transparency Act, I believe on November the 19th, 2025. Right? And also inside of Bill Clinton's chart, it was shown that he was going through the same he was going through the astrology of the beginning of his 1998 impeachment. Now the beginning of the his impeachment, it began on December the 19th, 1998, but the beginning of his trial, which I did not know, happened on January 7th, 1999. So, yeah. Let me pause a second. Okay, unpause. So the beginning, the astrology was shown for Bill Clinton's trial happened on December the 4th, 1999. And the astrology for the beginning of Bill Clinton's impeachment was shown on December the 26th, 1998. Now the astrology for the beginning of Bill Clinton's trial for 2026 happens on June the 13th, 2026. And this is like one day before Donald Trump's birthday. Mind you. Anyway, so moving on. So transit Mercury conjoining transit Mars inside the sky. So it happened again on January 18th, 2026. And see, kind of find out that on January 14th, 2026, Bill and Hillary Clinton, they were subpoenaed to testify on January the 14th, 2026, and it was shown inside of Donald Trump's chart that something bad, depressing, and an emotional block happened in Donald Trump's chart on January 14th, 2026. Anyway, so but on January 18th, 2026, transit Mercury inside the sky conjoined transit Mars inside the sky. So moving on, and other stuff is happening. You have to go through my previous videos. I'm just trying to stress just how important April 20th and April 2026 is going to be. April 26th, 2026 is going to be. It's major revelations in regards to a Bill Clinton scandal, Epstein, something big happening. So moving on, so on March the 15th, 2026, I believe this is around the time that Darren Endike and Richard Kahn, they were subpoenaed to testify in regards to the Epstein situation. But also around this time, there was a new moon eclipse that happened on, I believe, March the 18th, 2025. And it exactly conjoined Hillary Clinton's natal moon. And that just means something really, really, really bad was supposed to happen around that time. But they say that eclipses can be felt for 6 months. But I usually see things within like 3 days of that event. And within those 3 days, it was like Darren Endike, right? Yeah, Darren Endike. He was deposed, and inside of his deposition, he said that there were some hard drives that some investigators had taken out of Epstein's computers, and they had those. And so, being that the DOJ, they allowed the release of Darren Endike's deposition, it may mean that the DOJ actually has those hard drives. So there may be some stuff that hasn't been released to the public yet that is damning in regards to Bill Clinton. So anyway, so that's March the 15th, 2026, and that, like I said, transit Mercury in the sky conjoined transit Mars inside the sky around that day, on that date. And then days later, it's like more astrology happened inside of multiple people's charts. So again, on April the 20th, 2026, for in the sky, transit Mercury will conjoin transit Mars inside the sky. But not only that, it will also conjoin transiting Saturn inside the sky. So this is like the final event in regards to this situation. And something big could go down. Okay? That's why I said it's very important. So back to yeah, I'm not gonna say the rest of this quote. I mean the rest of this post or whatever. Well, I will say in regards to the components of the astrology that's going on inside of Donald Trump's chart, referencing his progress moon making a square to his natal Mars. So, and like I said, the last time for Donald Trump, his progress moon made an aspect to his progress Mars in regards to this house, and in regards to these current years. It was on Jesus April the 8th, 2025, and that was when Donald Trump decided to go after Christopher Krebs and Miles Taylor, and the autopan pardons that Joe Biden signed with the autopan. The pardons that Joe Biden signed with the autopan. Leave it at that. So the components of all this stuff that's going on right now is Hillary and Bill Clinton. They missed their October 9th and 4th. I've already went over all this. I did. So let me pause a second to see if there's anything else I want to add to this video, because I'm almost out of storage on this phone. So let me pause. Well, shit, I forgot. Being that Melania Trump and my her son and my son are like conjunct, there's something shown us on my chart where anyway, so currently right now, transit Saturn is making an aspect to my natal sun right now, and therefore it's also making an aspect to Melania Trump's son right now, and it's also making an aspect to my natal Jupiter, because my Jupiter makes an aspect to my sun in my natal chart. So my thing is that just be careful, because you don't know what may happen or whatever. And being I don't have her birth time, that's what's throwing things off for me. But yeah, so if I was Melania Trump, I would just be careful for these next few months. Let me see here. You go to the pictures, right? No, I need to go to pause a second. Okay. I don't know what to say. Pretty much, like I said, she needs to be very, very careful, because like in my chart, it shows that I'm supposed to say something very, very important. Like now. From really from March of 2025 all the way up until May of 2026. And so that's what's showing inside of my chart. But it's also showing inside of my charts, looking at the transits, that I know it sounds kind of conceited that I'm saying like yeah, everything's about me. I don't care. It's just that the astrology. I just how I look at I'm watching Dan Bongino, and I know he's saying one thing, and it's like something else could be happening behind the scenes. Looking at the astrology, I see it. And so I trust the astrology over everything. I trust the astrology more than what my eyes show me, even in general. Because, yeah, anyway. What I'm looking at is, I don't understand why Baron Trump, he has progression of Saturn on May the 10th, right? But even before that, so on April the 21st, 2026, for Baron Trump, his progress moon make a semi-sextile to his progress nodes. It's a fated event for him. However, in the future, his progress moon will semi-sextile his progress Saturn. And then in the further future, his progress moon will make another aspect to Saturn on May the 17th, 2026. So it's just weird. Now it could mean that Donald Trump, he just adds more security in regards to Baron Trump and Melania Trump. But I'm just saying they need to be careful during this whole whatever scandal that's going to come down, because even besides that, the trigger could be something happening to in regards to Donald Trump's family or whatever. All I know is that starting mid-April on around April the 15th, 2026, Donald Trump's gonna be ready to flip the table over. He's gonna be going after people. It could be the Pam Bunny testimony. She might say something crazy, or something could happen outside the realms of people's thoughts. Maybe an Iranian attack. I don't know, but something happens that pisses Donald Trump off. Something happens that pisses off JD Vance, and something shocks Usher Vance. I think Pete Hicks said he had a progression around this time too, but it's an ego boost. So let's see here. On oh my goodness. Pause. Okay, so yeah, on April the 16th, 2026, for Pete Hegseth, his progressed will make a trine to his progressed sun. And that means it's an ego boost for him. But let's see here. The concerning thing is just late April. Yeah. And that's when Bill Clinton begins to go through a lot of astrology similar to his impeachment. But a trial for Bill Clinton is shown to happen around or on June 13th, 2026. Anyway, so I'm not gonna go through the full astrology because I've already done that in my previous video. But I'm just saying, Melania Trump needs to be careful, and really, Donald Trump's circle in general just needs to be careful. I'm not gonna read her chart because it's like I don't have a birth time, and I could be off about that. It's just that I know her birthday is on the same day that transiting Uranus will change signs in the sky. I was trying to set up and say, look at the transits. So let me pause. Okay, so another astrologer pointed this out. His name is Steve Judd. He did say that on April the 23rd, 2026, that transit Uranus inside of the sky, is going to conjoin transiting Venus inside of the sky. And understand that they're both currently inside of the sign of Taurus. And Taurus is the ruler, or is the co-ruler of Venus. And so with them conjoining in the sky, right before transit Uranus enters Gemini, it may just be a omen. And understand that Venus is the ruling planet for Taurus, and so when you think about Taurus, you think about Melania Trump because she's a Taurus. Her natal sun is inside of the sign Taurus. So around these dates, these late dates of April, even before Melania Trump's birthday, April 26, 2026, and my birthday, and Jet Li's birthday, and Channing Tatum's birthday, or whatever. I guess we all need to be careful. Something shocking can happen. So just be careful around these dates of starting April the 15th all the way through the rest of April. And again, I've already said that on. So transiting Venus inside the sky will conjoin transit Uranus inside the sky on April the 23rd, 2026. And this is like one day after Usher Vance. No. This is one day before. This is one day after JD Vance. He has a progression to Mars. And keep in mind that last time that JD Vance had a progression to Mars, Charlie Kirk was assassinated 8 days later. And then also Usher Vance on the 24th of April, 2026. She will have her progression will make an aspect of Uranus, and that's a shocking event. And looking at the transits in general, transit Venus will conjoin transit Uranus inside the sky on the 23rd of April, 2026. Now, there was some more lore I want to look at because I think that also around this time, I have Hunter Biden's chart and Joe Biden's chart as well. So yeah, on April the 25th, 2026, for Hunter Biden, his progressed moon will conjoin his natal sun. It's like a progressed new moon. It's like an eclipse, a progressed eclipse. And that could be like an ego boost for him, but being that it's an eclipse, you can only guess what's going to happen. On April the 26th, 2026, for Joe Biden, his progressed moon will make an opposition to his natal Mercury. And that means that he hears some news. And on April 26th, 2026, that's when transit Uranus will enter the sign of Gemini. That's also Israel's 78th birthday. So it's my birthday, Melania Trump's birthday, Jet Li's birthday, Channing Tatum's birthday, and Israel's 78th birthday, where transit Uranus enters the sign of Gemini. But when transit Uranus enters the sign of Gemini, it deals with the United States and wars in general. So it could be a civil war or a war in general with any other nation. That's all. So yeah, that's that. I think I'm gonna end it here because I'm literally out of storage. I got 10 minutes left. So I'm just saying that Melania Trump needs to be careful. Um, Especially with Donald Trump just doing was saying um inflammatory things to Iran, and they may only God knows how they may react or may try to get their revenge. So, cause I think Donald Trump was the person who did get rid of Soleimani, and I think there's some people that hate him for that, and they want revenge for that. I mean, the hardliners in regards to Iran. So I'm not saying I take either side. I don't really care anymore. I'm burnt out. I don't. I'm tired of war. I'm tired of people dying. But anyway, so I think I'm gonna end it here. Well, let me pause for a second. See if there's anything else I want to add. So let me pause because I've said everything I need to say inside of my rapture video and going over all the additional stuff that I missed in my video after that. So let me pause a second just to make sure Let me pause to see if there's anything I'm missing. Okay, pause. Okay, so I'm gonna end it like this because I just I'm tired. So I'm gonna say I cannot predict death. I can just only see the probability that a bad event could occur, and especially when I don't have the birth time of the person who I'm looking at. So everything is just a guess. But all I'm saying is that she needs to be careful in reference to Melania Trump. That's all, because her birthday is literally on the same day as transit Uranus is going to enter the sign of Gemini. But not only that, it's Israel's 78th birthday. And all this stuff is like in reference to a religious situation, referencing Iran and Israel and their religious situation that's going on. And these religions, they follow the lunar cycles. They follow patterns inside the sky. So it is what it is. I'm like, just Melania, be careful. That's all. I'm not Donald Trump. In regards to Donald Trump, do I hate him? Do I regret voting for Donald Trump? No, not at all. It was. Let's see here. People who push the agenda for mutilating children's genitals, and they are lawmakers. Who the lawmakers are pushing for that agenda, versus Donald Trump, who is just a little who talks too much, basically, in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinions. But also Donald Trump, who was wronged in regards to this entire system. This whole system was weaponized against Donald Trump. Oh yeah, and then not forget that Republicans getting censored, even though I believe, in my opinion, that was Donald Trump's fault because he got rid of net neutrality. So I'm still stuck on the fact that these same lawmakers that are saying that Epstein is a monster and Epstein is all this, and that, they're also pushing the same in regards to children, in regards to young children getting aid by Epstein, allegedly and reportedly. And yet they're pushing for the agenda in regards to trans children and pushing for them to get puberty blockers and taking all this stuff to turn them to the opposite gender when they can't even drink, they can't even drive, they can't smoke, they can't get a tattoo yet, but they can change their gender via medical castration. So who would you vote for if and then not to forget they also are against, like, in my opinion, religious ideologies. I mean, you have I think, what's her name, Joy Reid. She's on her podcast. She's getting endorsed by something called freedom from religion. And so, anyway, I'm tired. I'm burnt out. Do I regret voting for Trump? No. What there really was no other option, honestly. So that's gonna be it for me. I probably sound out of sorts, crazy, and etc. But all I'm saying is that no matter how crazy I sound, Melania Trump, just be careful. Donald Trump, whatever. I'm tired. I'm burnt out. Bye.